Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could join us. Also, just tuning in through iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Broadcast, we're glad you all could be with us as well. Well, I always love talking to other creatives, not only about their journey, but also about their current projects. So we're excited to welcome Tanner Beard to our program today. He's not only been an actor, being able to show his work in front of the camera, he's also a producer as well. We're going to talk to him not only about his love of the art, but also what it's been like for him to be a part of a great animated short called Mushka that's out this year. I'm going to talk to him not only about the project, how he found out about it, but also the great response it's been able to get as well. If you guys are just now hearing about Mushka, of course, we'll let you know how you can stay connected with them as well. Tanner, thank you again for the time. Really do appreciate it.
Oh, man, thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I've been looking forward to this. I love the teasers for the animated short. We're going to get more into that. But I want to talk about this journey for you because when I was prepping for this segment, of course, people have gotten to know your work, Tanner, of course, in front of the camera, as I mentioned, but also you're a writer, producer as well. What has it been like for you to be able to have this love of the arts and to be able to share it with the rest of us?
Oh, man, well, just foremost. But, you know, I was really lucky, too, man. I have a great supportive family. You know, I come from a little small town in Texas, and I don't think if it was for good old mom and dad, you know, I wouldn't have had the opportunities I have to even get to follow, you know, those dreams, so to speak. So I'm just eternally grateful, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it is something, of course, that has definitely been recognized. I know you kind of came on my radar at the end of last year, of course, with the Whitney Houston biopic. That's the first time I really heard your name ringing around here in the South. I'm here in the South as well, in Mississippi, on the radio side. So, of course, I got to know more about you then. And now, of course, as I mentioned, now with this animated short, I mean, is that also part of the fun for you, Tanner, to be able to not only just slip into the skin of different characters, but also to help bring different types of projects to life?
That is such a fun question to answer. You know, I'm a small town from West Texas, which tells stories that I get to tell or dabble in some of the material. Isn't that the beauty of the entertainment arts? You're a scuba diver, but as a producer, just getting to take on stories that would pertain to the beauty of what this is. It's how we understand each other, is putting yourself in other people's shoes, right? You know, I hate when I hear that an actor can't do an accent now, or, you know, does an actor have to be a serial killer to play one? You know what I mean? It's like, where do you draw the line? Isn't that what we created the arts for, to understand each other as humans and humanity? No, and I understand that there's some guidelines, and it's just not as black and white as that, but that's the beauty of this art form.
Tanner, you were breaking up there at the end. Just wanted to let you know it was kind of going in and out there. But I think, you know, the cool thing is, too, is whether we're talking about a project like Mushka or, of course, something where we're able to actually see you, I think, you know, one of the things that definitely comes through is your passion for it. I noticed when you posted on Instagram one of the trailers for Mushka, and, of course, I could see in the comment section, you know, people were congratulating you. Of course, they were able to recognize your voice there. Talk to us about that. How did you find out about this particular project?
Well, Andreas Deja, just a Disney legend, the gentleman has lived, you know, Drew Jafar, Aladdin, and I think I heard they played the video games on Super Nintendo too, you know, growing up. But a gentleman, Roby, as we call him, Roger Villarreal, he's a photographer. I was doing a Bone Thugs and Harmony documentary for 3 or 4 years, and Roby was our DP on it. And I think us traveling, you know, I'm a bit of a cut up, so I think me just annoying everybody that traveled with us with, you know, stupid voices or just, you know, doing jokes all the time. He's like, hey, you know, my partner and I, we're literally creating this hand-drawn animation project, very Disney style. And he's like, you would be great, with these voices that you do to do this accent of, kind of a Siberian, Russian, Scandinavian, Ukrainian, whatever you want to call it, accent. It's kind of vague, where the location is, where these Siberian tigers are, It's kind of this broguish Russian-style accent. And he's like, dude, would you come in and, test out for it? And I think it just kind of wound up staying in the picture. And, wasn't the first choice, but I was so honored to have gotten to show up, do the lines. I had a vocal coach, on set, or in the booth rather, and we did this like 4 or 5 years ago. It took 7.5, almost 8 years to hand draw this.
Wow!
This amazing short documentary. How tired I am. This amazing short animation, and can't wait for the world to see it. But yeah, I think I kind of just luckily circumstances have it. I got the elbow my way in there, and they kept it, which I just feel so honored. Really, really amazing animation.
Yeah, I'm so glad you kind of told some of the backstory there, Tanner. I did not realize it had been that long. I mean, but again, it goes to showing, right? Of course, how much work goes into this. And I think a lot of us we don't really appreciate that when we're watching it. That it truly is a labor of love. I want to talk about that aspect because even in watching the trailer, of course, there's so many meanings I think that have been there for those young and those young at heart. But I mean, when you were able to see it, I know one of the things you've been able to do, of course, is to be able to see it, with the festival. So, as you've been able to see it and see the response, what has that been like for you to see how people are getting these messages from it?
I have sat I've seen it 3 times now in a theater, and I always pick up new stuff, especially because we did the audio so long ago. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. The people sitting next to me, I brought a few friends, just acquaintances, but even just the crowd, there's not a dry eye in the room, when this thing ends. And I think it has a lot to do with just a lot of nostalgia from the way that it's animated, for a lot of people, but the story is so heartfelt. And I think anybody with a beating pulse, can feel this lovely animation about this girl who adopts a tiger, and it grows a little big, and you have to figure out what to do with it, And so it's such a beautiful, beautiful story that it's really fun to watch it with a crowd now that I've seen it. And in fact, I'm not crying, you're crying, even when I watch it. But that's really special, I think, just because the nature of the project is like, oh, wow, man, you forget how powerful film is sometimes,
Right. And that brings up this point I wanted to ask you about, Tanner, because you've been able to work on some great projects, as I referenced, both in front of the camera, as well as, of course, in projects like this. And you've been able to do it with people that are just as passionate. Is that one of the things that keeps this fun for you? Because I think anyone who's kind of followed the news this year knows that, the entertainment industry definitely has its challenges. But is working with people just as passionate as you are, is that one of the things that kind of keeps this something that you look forward to?
Not to sound, ungrateful or anything like that, but I have been in the motion picture business since I was 18. I'm 30. So there's a 20-year period there that you've been grinding, and life is so short. And once you've made a few movies and you start another one, you really find your people, your tribe. Like I love working with the same people because that passion. It's like being in a big orchestra. You're like, man, I love playing with this trumpet section because I know how good they are. We all are like-minded. The passion's there. It's becomes kind of like a club where I don't know if it's so cantankerous, but it's like, man, I love working with the people that I've made movies with in the past because It's like the band's getting back together. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's that feeling because movies are not always. Sometimes you make one. We've made an Army documentary for 4 years, and then sadly we had an event where it wasn't even really able to come out outside of some festival stuff, which is a different story altogether. But that was a passion project, very much so. And you just never know, like when, we did 4 years on that one, then you make 5 movies, in 1 year after that. Like you just never know what's coming down the pipeline. And so each one is so precious, and that becomes your family. So you always want to go try to find those people and then find that, recreate that lightning in a bottle every time. But it definitely really becomes something where you get a little bit more particular about it each and every time because you really are trying to recapture that. It's a beautiful thing.
Exactly, and it's something that people look forward to. You know, you have been able to, as you mentioned, you've been in this industry for some time, so you have garnered fans kind of, I would say, on both sides. Tanner, not only, of course, those who follow your work, but those that are just inspired by you. Have you gotten used to that idea because of your longevity in the industry, because of your experience in the industry, that you've been able to inspire other people that are either entering the industry or thinking about it?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. When I think of if I have fans, I just brought who's my mom. but no, it's we actually have this organization. The Mammoth Film Festival is something that a few of us, myself, Theo Dumont, Tomik Mansouri, Alexander Chando, had set up. We're coming into our 6th year now. Man, that's where you really get to give, not necessarily like a give back, but that's where you get to get and sit and talk about your craft and your industry in a way where you're a little bit more free flowing with ideas and accept, where it's like, hey, here's how it worked for me. Let's bring on this person. Let's talk to them. And this becomes this great, community of not only us doing a film festival showing world premiere feature films, but the panel discussions that we have, the Mammoth Media Institute that's, under the umbrella of this. We're now making movies. We made 2 movies this year prior to the SAG strike. Excuse me. Don't worry, we made them before. But we're so grateful that what we've been establishing, by the culture of communication and teaching and learning and these like-minded groups. We're now making movies, through Mammoth Film Festival, Mammoth Media Institute, and it's just a really, really cool thing. So kind of a offshoot of your question there, but yeah, man, I think by way of the Mammoth Film Festival, what we created there, amazing conversations, and that to kind of answer your question, it's like-minded people getting to hang out and talk to each other about being movie nerds.
Right, exactly. Well, and that camaraderie is so important, I think, too, and that encouragement, I think, is so important as well. But we talked about Mushka, of course, and what it's been like for you to already see the response there. What else are you looking forward to this year, Tanner, that you can share with our audience?
Yeah, man, I'm so ecstatic. Through Compelling Pictures, Jeff Caligari, one of my longtime producing partners, we just finished up a movie called The Collaboration. It's about Andy Warhol and Jean-Michel Basquiat's, collaboration. Probably the 2 biggest American artists of all time. So that's a really, really special project. And it's, the cast list is Paul Bettany, Melissa Barrera, Daniel Bruhl, Jerry Pope, who is, just killing the game. Just a wide list of more supporting cast, but just seeing like Paul Bettany, play Andy Warhol, I can't wait for audiences to see this. We don't know now when it's coming out, just due to the nature of the industry right now.
Right.
It was kind of slated for this year, but more than likely, if it's not the end of this year, very much so. Hopefully, if everything figures itself out, the first part of next year. But that's one project, man. I am so pumped and ecstatic for is The Collaboration, directed by the amazing Kwame. Man, this guy's just first time out of the chute, and this is going to be a really special movie.
Awesome. Well, it gives us something to look
by the way, written by Anthony McCartan, who also wrote I Want to Kill Somebody and Bohemian Rhapsody. So you can't leave his name out of that. Dennis O'Sullivan, who produced it, who also we got to work with on the Whitney movie. So very cool.
Yeah, very cool. Well, Tanner, I really enjoyed this time with you. Again, everyone, Tanner Beard has been our guest. Really appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much, and congratulations on all of your success. Again, of course, on the animated short as well. How can our audience kind of stay connected with you and kind of keep up with the updates?
Yeah, sure, man. I appreciate that. Well, I'm on Instagram and most social medias. I'm just at Tanner Beard. I'm kind of boring. It's a lot of just shameless self-promotion for me. But follow at Mammoth Film Festival. At Mammoth Film Festival on Instagram. Stay up to date. That's one thing I'd definitely like to try to push, and we're really excited about the oncoming season. And dude, thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate you, and hello to everybody in Mississippi.
Well, look, we appreciate you, and definitely looking forward to speaking with you again, Tanner.
My man, have a good one.
You as well. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's go make today amazing. Take care.